I mean, unfortunately, I can't play this for today's show because it doesn't apply in terms of how I feel.
It's been a while, man.
It has been a while.
A little bit of groove.
Jam it out. Sorry. We got to hit that 15-second marker less. Otherwise, we get this copyright infringement thing that pops up on YouTube, and Daniel gives me the stinky eye. So
it hurts.
So with that said, I just have one thing I want to get out of the way before we even get into, banter news and all the other stuff that we do. But it's basically this.
No, no, no.
No! No, 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 no! No!
What? No.
No!
No. No, no. Is it because,
Even Vader at the end thought this week was shit all the way around.
It's because Kanye and Kim are getting a divorce, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
That's what it is.
Yeah. So,
all right, just remember, at the end of the review, we have to say something nice.
I thought about that all week. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took me all week.
First, just to get that out of the way, because by the time
No, you got to end on the high note.
Okay,
end on the high note. No, because we're gonna take a short hiatus after this show, so we can't have the listeners be like, in
a way,
the last thing we said was and then they don't hear from us for.
We've got an episode booked for next week.
We do.
Oh, we do.
We don't have to be here, but we do.
Yeah, we don't have to be here. It's already recorded.
As David I would say, it's in the can.
Yeah. Yeah, we're good. We're good. We could take 2 weeks off.
Right,
it's all right.
All right. All right. Now you have to isolate that phrase. It's in the can. David Ivy's voice. It's in the can. Isolate that. Put it on the soundboard.
Yeah. I'll make a note. It'll never happen, but I'll make a note.
Yeah, I'll make it. This is Chad making a note. Look at me. I'm writing it down.
Yeah, we have a new soundboard, by the way. It's now completely and totally on an iPad instead of the phone.
Oh, nice.
That is because I have more buttons available on a larger screen because I kept having to scroll sometimes. And then sometimes when you try to scroll, it would just move the tiles around and reorder them instead of scrolling. And I was about ready to throw my phone across the room last show. So I said, screw it. But,
I should get my own soundboard. I should figure out if I could tie one more iPhone into this contraption that I got going in the car here.
You know what I thought would be hilarious for you, Dan? To go with the whole being a dad motif. Get one of those see and says, the cow says.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, Chad's a dad too.
I know, but his kids are older.
You're a doggy dad.
Yeah. That's so weird to me, the whole doggy dad thing.
6 months. Yeah.
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 No, I'm not a doggy dad. That's weird.
Fine.
How old is your dog anyway? Quite a bit.
7.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah.
So you got that 7-year itch. You looking at other dogs?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
I have looked at other dogs thinking like it would be easier to have 2 because they could occupy each other.
That's what my wife keeps telling me. We need to go get a second golden doodle. This one's already over 40 pounds, for crying out loud. She can just reach up with her head and just lay it on the counter.
No, you got to get 2 different dogs. You can't have 2 of the same dog. You got to get 2 completely different dogs. I had a black lab pit bull mix.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Right. About 50 pounds. And then I had a little tiny 12-pound rat terrier. Guess who ran the house?
The terrier did, yeah.
Yup.
Yeah.
Yup. He would take food right out of her mouth. It was crazy.
Oh, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, well, why don't we just get right into the show? Yeah, because I'm sure we've got a lot of stuff to say today. I mean, and we'll just fill it in as we go. So.
Yeah.
Attention all hands. It's time for Star Trek news.
No show open, just straight to the news sound effect.
Oh yeah,
whatever.
Yeah, well, I can do this one.
The internet
The old
Oh,
school
yeah.
one.
Digital frontier. These are the voyages of the Trekcast crew. With continued mission to explore
Everything's-
strange new ideas.
Everything's new again.
To seek out new facts and new observations. To boldly go where no Trek fans have gone before.
All right, now we can go into the news, Daniel.
Okay. So
Like our
I'm
first
gonna
week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, go back and listen to our first show, episode 167.
Oh, it's a train wreck.
Don't, please don't. No, don't.
Yeah. Oh. Speaking of listening to old shows, I went and listened to our review of the season 2 finale, where we
Oh,
gave
yeah?
predictions for season 3. So
Oh,
I
really?
wrote them down.
Oh,
But we can go. Yeah.
Oh, that was smart. That
Yeah.
was smart.
That's some
Here we go
that's called
again,
producing.
Daniel being
Yeah.
a producer. I mean, holy shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was prep work.
Yeah. So
You know what
And-
I did to prep?
what'd you do?
I plugged both phones in to
Nice.
make sure they were charged.
Well, you got your sweatshirt on. The one from
Yeah. Well, it was clean.
Yeah, there you go.
We do need to make sure we mention that this week because we've missed it the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. So if you need any nerdy stuff, guys, nerdkungfu.com.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff.
I love this thing.
Yeah.
The
Love
shirts are really quite. I mean, I was shocked. They're very high quality. They're
Yeah.
Yeah.
both of my long sleeve shirts. After washing them, they didn't shrink out that much. A little. Everything does.
Yeah.
Unless it's made from rayon, which you don't want to wear. No, good shirts. Love it. Wear them. I wear both of them all the time.
Nice. Well, let me get to the first news story. And we're going
Yeah.
to start with some fake news because it's from We Got This Covered. And the headline reads, Avery Brooks reportedly willing to return to Star Trek.
I saw that, and I'm like, why
Okay.
not? He should. I mean, but he's
Well,
he's Avery
Excuse me
Brooks.
for one moment.
Yeah.
Keep going, Daniel.
Oh, okay.
I think he actually meant excuse me for one moment. not-
Yeah. That's what I thought. Yeah. Okay. So they took one little thing out of the Seventh Rule podcast and jumped to giant leaps.
Mm,
So that's what it is.
that's where they
So-
got it. Okay.
Yeah. So on the Seventh Rule podcast, which is hosted by Sirach Lofton, aka Jake Sisko, he recently said, kind of casually mentioned that Avery Brooks, Benjamin Sisko, the Sisko, would be willing to return to acting, and that his departure from acting may not have been just Avery's decision alone. That he's sort of been pushed out of the industry, and so Sirach went on to say, quote, "To say that he's not willing to act is kind of ridiculous. No question that he's willing to act," end quote. So from that, we get the stories. Oh yeah, he's gonna be back as Ben Sisko. No, he's not. He's just
Yeah.
that
Well-
he's willing to act.
Yeah, I wonder if some of that though with him saying that he just kind of got pushed out is, I mean, Avery Brooks is not the easiest guy to communicate with, just one on one. And if you don't realize that, go watch the Captains documentary thing with William Shatner and just watch how he acts with William Shatner in that interview, and you're just sitting there going, is he really non-corporeal as he sits there? Is he really? I mean, he's talking like a freaking prophet. I
he's
don't
a
make no
different
sense.
dude.
He's a crazy cat.
I've seen him at conventions.
Yeah.
And the way he was on screen with William Shatner. I mean, that's the way he is. He
Yeah.
gets up there on stage and he just starts going, and he's just talking about nonsense, and people are like looking at each other like,
Like, what the hell's going
he's-
on?
Yeah, he's got a 30-minute set here, and we're 22 minutes in, and he's talking about feeling jazz music, tasting jazz music, and, just like
Which-
craziness.
I understand some of that. I love jazz music. I listen to it all the time. So I kind of get the feeling anyway, but holy shit.
Well, that said, I was thinking about today, like on Instagram, what's his name? David Aiello, the guy that plays Booker.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that dude, once conventions start up again, that guy's gonna be a lot of fun to watch at conventions.
Oh yeah.
If you watch his Instagram feed, he's constantly wearing like these bad Star Trek pun shirts and like showing them off on Instagram. Yeah. There's like one of him with the cat, and it says "I hold a grudge," and he's like all giant smiles. He's just so cheesy. He's gonna be a blast at conventions. So
Yeah, I'm sure he
You
will.
know,
Oh, he'll be there. In
do we
Vegas,
know the
I think.
history? Do we know the history on this guy? I mean, has he been in other things?
he was in Supergirl, I know, and
Yeah.
Okay.
he's a Shakespearean actor. He
Okay.
there's something like he knows Patrick Stewart, like they're friends before this.
Okay.
So yeah,
They
I'm
probably
just
met
I'm
at a
just
theater
wondering
or
if
something.
I'm just wondering if he's one of these people who maybe can look more than a year
Mhm.
ahead of himself and think to himself, you know what? I may never be a superstar. I may never be a $4 million motion picture contract type actor, but I have this Star Trek thing. And if I play my cards right, I will have a steady flow of income from this for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think he's that kind of guy. I think he's smart enough to realize that. But I also think like he just eats it up and enjoys it and is just gonna have a blast.
He's
with it.
clearly having fun. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Well,
that's the biggest
good for
takeaway
him.
from that Instagram. His Instagram account is he is clearly just enjoying himself, which is
Yeah.
It's
nice.
too bad he's not in a better show.
Yeah, that was my next
Too
thought.
true. Too true.
That was my next thought. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like anybody who gets a recurring role in Trek nowadays, if they play their cards right, has got a meal ticket at least for quite some time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, his meal ticket's going to be about that much compared to any other show Trek. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
All right. So our next news story comes to us from ScreenRant.com, and the headline is Star Trek Theory: Discovery's Kovich is the Federation president.
yeah, I thought the same thing.
Yeah. So David Cronenberg.
Yeah.
Oh.
The guy with the glasses, yeah. Really he's the president.
Yeah.
So they kind of relate as their evidence is the fact that he's in a lot of scenes that really, if he's just an interrogator, why would he be in there? Like, why is he interrogating the Emperor and things like that?
The only thing that would make that kind of why is still the Section 31 thing. But go ahead.
Well, we don't know for sure that he's Section 31.
No, we don't. We don't know anything really.
Guess.
Yeah.
And the fact that like he had his own interrogation, like lie detector robot thing, hologram, that was apparently blinked out of commission. Yeah. Also, the fact that he's like he seems to know a lot of things that you wouldn't think somebody like. Well, I guess we don't know his position, so or what his cover position is. So
I think the drop that gave the hint that kind of confirmed it on my end that he is president of the Federation. We'll find out next season, obviously. But was Osira asking Vance, where's your president? And he doesn't answer.
Yeah.
But yet there's David Cronenberg yet again in this episode, kind of just around. And I think that's the tie-in in that article. I haven't read the article, but is that a tie-in in that theory, Daniel?
No, they don't bring that part of it up. Just more of the situations that Cronenberg is in or Kovich is in, and that it's weird that somebody like that. Plus, he doesn't have like a uniform. He dresses in a suit.
A suit from 2020. Yeah.
Yeah. So things
because he's David Cronenberg, he's just going to show up as himself, and they're just going to slap a badge on him and say, "Go for it, David."
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah,
exactly. Right. And our last news story comes to us from Inverse.com, and the headline is Discovery showrunners say season 4 will continue a beloved Star Trek tradition. So that tradition is that you do a hybrid of overarching serialized stories and episodic stories. And they say that they did that in season 3 as well. Which you can kind of argue they did, like when they went to Book's planet or when they went to the ice planet. Like there were some kind of one-off episodes ish, you know.
Yeah,
so,
a few.
Yeah.
That's not what they're talking about. It's the uniform change.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Season 4, except for Voyager, season 4, everybody gets a uniform change.
Yeah.
So, So that's what they're planning to do. We don't know much else for season 4. That's just like the overall thing they're doing. It is currently being shot, which is nice.
Yeah, I would love to say, we talked about this in the last show. I would love to say that we're going to get a whole bunch of new Trek this year. Man.
I think COVID kind of torpedoed that. I think if that wasn't the case, we would.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
And it's not just Star Trek that's dealing with that. Everything is kind of, so it is what it is.
Kind of gotten used to it at this point, haven't we? We've kind of gotten used to it.
We're on the back end of it. Now like things will start to come out either on streaming or with the vaccine out. We should start getting dates that should stay. So
I would think so.
Yeah. So
I started rewatching, kind of listening to it because I have a TV in my workshop, but I started rewatching Space Force.
Oh yeah.
And the first time I watched it was pre Lower Decks.
Yeah.
So now I can't not hear what's her name.
Mariner.
Mariner.
Yeah, Mariner. Every time, I can't remember the other character's name, but every time the pilot talks, I'm like, all right, that's
Tawny
Mariner.
Newsome. Yeah, I don't know what the pilot's name is either.
That's totally Mariner.
Yeah.
It was funny.
That's awesome. Yeah. But yeah, that's all the news stories I've got. So.
All right. Awesome. We will move right into feedback.
Incoming subspace signal.
That's a new one.
Oh.
That is a new one.
Anyway, well, it's an old one. We haven't used it in a long time. So, okay. Couple things. We've got several donations to go through over on the coffee account. Thank you for that, guys.
Thank you.
And the first one, excuse me. The first one is from Leaf. We've talked about this, I know, in the last week, but we didn't really know. We don't know quite what the Leaf. If you're listening, buddy, email us or call into the show 816-287-0448 and give us some mansplaining of what this says. But you take it for what it is. He says, "Curse your opinions at times, but your truth humor on everything is helping so much after my wife of 35 years and the COVID times.
Yeah.
Thank you, gentlemen, for your passion. It means something." Well, we really appreciate that. To us, that felt like a heartfelt note, and of course the donation. We really appreciate it. Not quite sure if that means your wife passed after 35 years, or after being married for 35 years, you're stuck in the house with her. I don't know what. I don't know which way that goes. Hopefully, it's the positive of the two. So, but we appreciate the donation, Leaf, and thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Yes, thanks, Leaf.
Yeah, thank you, Leaf. Yeah.
Then we got our old buddy Lumberjack Daryl. He says, Michael Burnham did the right thing with Stamets. It was the Starfleet way. Look on the bright side, at least. She didn't take the ship back by herself.
Shut up, Daryl.
Well, at least they handled that somewhat appropriately in the next episode, in the season finale. Anyway, we'll get to that. So Lumberjack Daryl wasn't done. He put another donation in just a couple days ago, and he says, this is getting into spoilers, guys, just getting into spoilers. So he says, sucks that Saru can't be captain for a full freaking season. Even the ship didn't like Burnham, considering it spit her out the wall. Season 6 and 6.5 out of 10. And uniforms are kind of neat. Okay, so he likes the uniform. He rates it 6.5 out of 10. And that is funny about the ship spitter out of the wall. Didn't like her either. I didn't think of it that way. That's awesome, Daryl. All right, then we got one from Snuzzlefeet. Guys, thank you for all these donations here at the beginning.
Yes, thank you.
Really appreciate it. Well on our way for doing quite a bit in Vegas this year. So, okay. Snuzzlefeet says, how big do they think these starships are? There is like an entire national park between the walls when they show turbolift scenes. Yeah, I have huge complaints about that. They did this in the JJ movies to like a blown out extreme. But they did it here as well to where like, what a waste of freaking space. Anyway, so I just don't understand what the fuck they were thinking.
The idea that there's that much space between these bulkheads makes the idea of a Jeffries tube ridiculous. For 50 years, we had people crawling through Jeffries tubes. Meanwhile, there's enough space to fly an F-14 around between between turbolifts.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Ridiculous. Completely
Well,
ridiculous.
I will say this. I do understand because if you think of these ships, they're kind of like submarines, right? They're in deep space as opposed to underwater. There's no pressure outside, so there's all this other stuff, right? So
Right.
I get that in some areas you can have these big cavernous spaces and openings, and others you have to have crawl spaces to get between things because equipment is different, it has to be in different locations. There's piping, tubing, electronics, all that stuff. So
Mhm.
I get that you'd have Jeffrey tubes still and a large cavernous space somewhere, but you don't design a ship to have that much empty space for no effing reason.
Right.
Where exactly is this gigantic 17 football
atmosphere?
fields?
Is there atmosphere in there?
Apparently there is, which is also stupid because that's just a total waste. So I don't care how much programmable matter you have.
Maybe
this
all
is
that space is
dumb.
where you store the plot holes.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's
Well,
a
I
good
mean,
point.
a hole is really negative space. A hole is not a thing. A
Right.
hole is the negative space in another thing. So I guess if you take, what are we in, season 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the third. Yeah, if you take 3 seasons of plot holes and push them together, that is how much negative space.
That is how much
Right,
negative
right.
space.
So that's what it is. Oh, we figured it out. That's great.
That's it. We've
Yeah.
solved all the universe's problems. Okay, so
All right, so thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week with a pre-recorded episode. And
Yeah.
why in the world do they still have turbo lifts when they jump around the way they do everywhere?
Yeah, because they can just teleport.
The ship design, this is probably why the ship designs way out there look so freaking outlandish for the most part. You know, the USS Nog, the Voyager looks like looks like Eva, but in the Voyager as well, but whatever. But all the other ships look so far out there and so outlandish because they can do anything they want to with the design. They don't have to worry about crawl spaces anymore. They don't have to worry about moving around. They don't have the issues anymore. They don't have to have the space for the turbo lift and all that emptiness
Right.
apparently. So anyway. All right, that's yeah, so that was Snuzzle Feet, and then Lumberjack Darrow comes back yet again.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, I guess Starfleet forgot about the Discovery's prefix codes and would like to see a Janeway John Wick style film where she gets vengeance on an alternate timeline Tuvix for killing her dog and fiance. Yeah.
Oh no, Tuvix would never kill a dog.
No.
Well, would
Yeah.
Tuvix in the Mirror Universe be evil, or would he just be kinder?
Tuvix in the Mirror Universe is Nevok.
I feel
And
like
he goes
All right,
around taking out people's knees.
If we have any artists out there in podcast land, I really want someone to draw us a Nevok. I want someone to take Neelix, look at the Neelix design, and everything that's Neelix, make it Tuvok, and everything that's Tuvok, make it. Really, give us a mirror Tuvix. Give us a Nevok. I would love to see that.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
I feel like he would be wearing a leather jacket with spikes on it, like 80s style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd have
And then
evil spin
once
on
you
his
have
face.
him, and then once you have him, kill him.
No.
All right, so what does Daryl mean here when he says, I guess Starfleet forgot about Discovery's prefix codes? I guess what he's talking about is why can't they send a code over there and shut the whole damn thing down the way that,
Yeah.
you know,
Yep.
a la Kirk versus Khan. But I
Mhm.
think the reasoning for that would be they've already subverted and taken over the entire computer system, supposedly, right?
Sure.
I guess.
Yeah. Why not?
I mean, they
Sure.
Plot hole space. Who knows?
Yeah, there you go, Daryl. It goes in the plot hole space in between the turbo lift walls. All right, then we got another one from Commander Felton. Thank you, sir. Commander Felton has been a steady donator to us since we started this coffee account.
Yeah,
Really
we're gonna
appreciate
have to put him in for promotion. I mean, he should really be captain at this point.
Yeah.
it.
No
Yeah,
kidding.
instead of Commander. Yeah. Well, same thing with Lumberjack Daryl. I mean,
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of these guys donate all the time. We really appreciate it. So,
Yeah.
So what, you want him to be, what, like senior lumberjack? What do you
yeah,
suggest?
senior lumberjack. Yeah. I'm a
Yeah,
lumberjack and I'm okay. So, anyway, and I want people to notice this too about these guys and how much we appreciate it. We don't have anything
Yes.
set up for reoccurring donations.
No,
You
we don't.
have
No.
to physically go in there and do it. You know, we
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
We don't do any automatic recurring things here, so you have to want to go and do it. So we really appreciate it. So
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, so no, Commander Felton says, looking forward to whatever you guys come up with between Star Trek seasons. Yeah, so are we, Derek. So are we.
We've got some ideas.
Yeah, we do. But I mean, I am so looking forward to it. I mean, it's great. We can get back to, what the hell's wrong with Keiko O'Brien? Wyatt, how does Odo pee? I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, all the great questions. Anyway, so,
does he leave a trail? Like if a slug crawls across the table, there's like a trail of slime. Is there like a Odo trail?
yeah,
I'm
You know,
just
I
curious.
I was thinking recently, Odo is a nudist, if you really think about it.
yes, he is. He's never
Yeah.
wearing clothes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
He is walking around naked.
Mhm.
What was the question we had asked? You and I were talking about Daniel like a couple weeks back, and I know what it is. We'll
What's up?
save that for the show idea. Never mind. We'll save
Okay.
that.
All right.
It's about Neelix. So
Okay.
Oh boy.
anyway,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh,
so now
I think
we
I
got,
know.
yeah. I don't want to give that one away.
So-
I'm not gonna say it.
That's
Yeah.
going to be a great episode.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, now I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's gonna be
That's gonna be
fantastic.
a quick episode.
Well, no, it's not. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah.
Know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, so then we got another one from Eric Woods. This is a first-time donation from Eric Woods. I don't recall seeing that name before. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
Maybe
either.
it was a long
Yeah.
time ago, but it looks like a first-time donor. So thank you for that, sir. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And he says, missing the Mandalorian discussions as I have lost interest in Discovery this season.
This is the way.
Yeah.
This is the way.
He says, I'm a few episodes behind, but praying they will pull something out of their ass or kill off Michael Burnham. Sorry, Eric. Wah, wah.
Yeah, indeed.
They do it the other way. They don't kill her off.
It came out of somebody's ass.
I think that was the highest number of donations between shows. Just in the
Yeah, there was quite a
percentage
bit.
numbers. It's quite a bit. It
Wow.
was nice.
Thank you. Thanks,
Yeah, we
guys.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, going along with the theme of everything is shit in 2020 2.0, I put up a poll on Friday about, did you enjoy the season finale of Discovery? So I gave I put it on Twitter. I gave 3 different answers, right? Yes, amazing. Answer number 1.
Okay.
Meh. Answer number 2. And nope. No. Answer number 3.
Mhm.
So we had 13 votes as of this morning. 61.5% said yes, amazing.
Okay.
38.5% said nope, no. So nobody thought it was eh. It was either you loved it or you hated it. So it's a 61.5 to 38.5 split.
That seems to be how people overall take Discovery. You either
Yeah.
love it or you know.
Yeah, and I wish it would have been a higher. I wish I would have gotten more people than 13 to vote on that because I would like
Yeah.
to see how that plays out. I will admit that on Twitter, and I'm off of Facebook now, ladies and gentlemen. So if you tag me over on
Yeah.
the Facebook group or try to say anything to me over on the Facebook group, I'm not
Mhm.
going to answer because I've deleted it and I'm not there. I haven't deleted my account. I've just gotten it off my damn devices. So
Mhm.
that's a whole nother topic. Anyway,
Yeah.
but I am on the cesspool that is Twitter. So I don't know, whatever. The Trek community on Twitter though, that I'm kind of seem to always see in my feed,
Mm-hmm.
because I've tailored that feed to where I pretty much only see just people who are really into Trek.
Yeah.
So they get political too, but whatever. It's pretty heavily skewed. That community that I'm kind of in is
Mhm.
pretty heavily skewed to pretty much loving anything that comes out with Trek, regardless of what it is. And there's
There's a lot of that. That's
yeah.
cool. Yeah.
and that's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
this is the thing about fandom, right? It's your fandom. You can treat
Right.
it however you want. You
Yeah.
can love it in order to love to hate it, or you can
Mhm.
love it because you love everything they do and they can do no wrong, or you can be somewhere in between. It doesn't matter. That's totally your opinion. That is the
Yeah.
whole point of this show. It's 3 guys coming around and spouting out our opinions. So
I've said it before. Star Trek is like sex.
Mhm.
Even when it's bad, it's still pretty good.
Right. Right. Fair enough.
That's a great point. We got to isolate that clip and play that every once in a while.
That'll be on the next Christmas card.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
All
right.
I do get an email.
Do you?
Yeah, from Taryn.
Read your email and I'll play the voicemail.
Okay. Star Trek Discovery: A New Hope. So he says, guys, Happy New Year. Finally watched Disco. And while Riker didn't show up to save the day, nor did Luke Skywalker, for that matter. The ending got to me. Thought the finale wasn't perfect, but I did want to say about Michael, and say what you want about Michael. But for the first time, Discovery made me feel hope again. It finally felt like Star Trek. The hope by beginning to rebuild the timeline and rebuild of the timeline after the disconnection could not come at a more perfect time. Also, having a classic Star Trek ending where the captain enters the bridge to a cheering crew, except for Stamets, in the new uniform, sits on the chair, drops catchphrase, goes to warp, followed by the stretchy warp effect. I was left with one thought: hope. Live long and prosper, Taryn.
Thanks,
So,
Taryn.
Nice,
Yeah.
Taryn.
I can
Yeah.
see that. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Well, I will say this. So he's got a point there, right?
Yeah.
All the smashing I'm about to do here in a moment, but he
Yeah.
does have a point, right? There was a significant portion of this season that I absolutely loved, and they were on the right track, and they were starting to do the right things, and the episodes were clicking, and the crew was clicking, and we were getting some more backdrop on some of those, some of that crew, just little bits here and there, not enough, but a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
And it was starting to kind of click, and there was a little bit, like you said before, there was a little bit of that episodic one-to-one kind of thing that they were kind of stuttering through. And
Yeah,
you take
we loved
that.
the first half. Like we
Yeah,
talked about that a lot.
We did, yeah. You take that and pair it with what you just read a minute ago about what season 4 is going to be, even more episodic, right? You know, maybe we will. You know, there is hope that they can put out some good shows next season, right? So they did it this season. They can do it again, even though they muffed the ending. So
Yeah,
you know, it's a good point, Taryn. Good point.
It is a very good point. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
thanks for listening, buddy.
So, and then let's see. Do we have any feedback on Facebook? Sorry, I accidentally clicked out of it, so I got to find it.
Yeah, and you guys will have to tell me what's going on over there from now on, because I can't do the Facebook.
So Rachel had a pretty good question. She says, I do have to wonder if Discovery would have been different if they had 20 episodes a season. Would the writers have more time to expand on the characters and plot? Would there be much more potential?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that's missing, right? Because we talk about this all the time. Who the hell is Owu, right?
Yeah.
What's Detmer's backstory? Outside of we know where she got the stuff on her face, it was from the first 2 episodes of season 1. But you know, who the hell was this lady that showed up all of a sudden with them when they were losing air? I don't know who the hell that is. When they were trying to get to the nacelle, all of a sudden there was this brunette. I have no idea who that person was, right? And if you do have more episodes, then you can have those, not necessarily filler episodes, but those episodes that stand out one-off on their own. They don't impact the rest of that overarching story, and they can be about, this is the Detmer episode, this is the Owo episode, this is the Bill and Ted who do the comms and whatever and tactical attack. I don't know who those 2 guys are, the black guy and the Asian dude.
Yeah.
You know, we can do an episode about those 2 guys, or here's one just Tilly, right? And so whatever, or here's just one with Jet in engineering. It's just an engineering episode, like a Geordi episode, right? So they can't do all of that because they've got it too concise.
Again, it's 2 different. It's the new storytelling. You know, they don't tell you a story. They tell you a portion of a story. You know, O'Brien and Keiko, you know, pre Deep Space Nine, we learned the most about the 2 of them because they were the B story in Data's day.
Yep.
Right.
And the story had a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yep.
You know, and nowadays they don't do that. It's, you know, this is how Keiko and O'Brien met, and they're supposed to get married, and they're upset with each other. Tune in for the next 6 weeks to see how this resolves.
Yeah.
Instead of 44 minutes later.
Yeah.
Instead of 44 minutes later, you know, through the course of the episode, you know, the problem is fixed, the question is answered, you learn about the character.
Yeah.
So I feel like a broken record here, but I really hope that they follow through on this episodic thing.
I still got hope for Strange New Worlds that's how they're going to do Strange New Worlds, because it's essentially a reboot of TOS just with Pike instead of a Kirk, right?
Yeah.
So
I would say this. There are other shows out there that have a similar episode count to Discovery and manage to do both. Like you look at Breaking Bad,
Please
you
don't
look
say
at
The Walking Dead.
No, but you look at the early seasons of Game of Thrones, where you would have those character moments, you would learn about them, and the story would progress.
Yeah.
So it's a lot has to do with plotting, with story structure, philosophies. Clearly, the emphasis is on feelings and emotions rather than character. So that's why we don't get those moments, like in the finale, right, where Tilly talks about, hey, we went into the nacelle and she brought me cake or whatever it was, and they had that moment. You could have actually have done that moment earlier in the season, and shown that relationship, as opposed to tell us about it later.
Yeah.
And it would have tied in better.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I don't know if you're done or not.
No, I'm done.
You brought up a really great point there, right? When you said it's more about emotions and feelings instead of character.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds so familiar because it's kind of like politics in the 20s, right? It's all about feelings and emotions instead of facts, right? So,
right.
Anyway,
but yeah.
Hold on. I'm holding an actual steering wheel, and I'm putting us back on course.
Wait. When you say that, here I've got the perfect just for that, right?
How much longer till we get there?
Another 6 hours.
This is a perfect idea of how you build these characters.
Return to his cabin.
You call that a cabin? It's a cot and a waste disposal unit. It's so small, even I can't stand up in there. Look, I'm developing a slouch.
Tell the Ferengi to return to his cabin now.
Right. What's he gonna do? Turn around and take me home? Ruin everyone's vacation?
Coming about. Setting course for Trekcast.
All right, we're back at it.
Right.
I had to do that. That was perfect.
Yeah, but it's moments like that, you know?
Yeah.
That easily could be like we got to see some of that with Stamets and Adira, right? That they care for each other. But
that's one of the great things about the last few episodes. It's the Space Dads. I love that with those two and Adira and them trying to take care of her. And the first time they get to see Gray, Culber does, right?
Yeah,
those are great. They're just small. They don't take up a lot of time. They don't really. They do kind of pull you out of the rest of the story, but they don't take away from it because because people have lives. There's more. There's more going on than fucking Burnham.
Right. they need to do more show don't tell.
And we've said that for years.
A lot of problems.
We've said that for years. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So
that
I got one more feedback whenever you're done.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, I didn't know if you're done yet or not.
I'm done.
Okay. So this is a voicemail. I'm pretty sure I didn't play this last.
Hey, Trekcast. This is Steve in DuQuoin, Illinois. I didn't know that anyone could create an artifact so totally dorky and awesome at the same time. Thanks for the rockin' Christmas card. Have a great new year. Live long and prosper.
So when he said that, when I first listened to that, I was like, an artifact? What is he?
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Oh, the card. The card is the artifact. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. It didn't click with me at first. So
yeah. That's awesome.
That's great.
That was pretty good. Thanks, Steve. We appreciate it. Of course, you can call back anytime to the show and leave a voicemail. We will play it on the air, 816-287-0448. Please give us a call. And we will now move into...
Oh, hold on. We should talk about our poll that we've been running this week.
Oh, okay.
With the Choose Your Space Daddy that apparently has been quite popular.
Oh man, it blew up on Twitter this week too.
Yeah.
Someone I didn't post it on Twitter. Somebody copied it over there and tagged us in it, and it's gotten 400 and some odd.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a ton. So
and in the Facebook group and Instagram, it's been quite popular.
Yeah.
So the choices were either Anson Mounts Pike or Vance, and
Admiral Vance. Yeah.
Admiral Vance, and quite significantly, Pike is everybody's space daddy. So there you go.
Admiral Vance, the only person in human history to ever sit down and read the terms and conditions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, all right, that's all.
All right, we'll move back in. We'll move into the topic, right? We're ready for that?
Yeah.
Ready for that? Shit.
Mm-hmm.
Did I? Yeah, I did. I put it on there. Okay.
Talking about Star Trek in this week's topic. Talking about
So,
Okay.
Do you want me to start with some of the predictions we had?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. But first, I just want to play this.
Yeah.
This episode of Trekcast is brought to you by Kanar. After a long day working in the ore processing center, all the Bajorans you've worked to death, what's better than to come back to the habitat ring to your quarters and pour yourself a nice, rich, thick, dark glass of Kanar. Kanar from Cardassia.
Thank you very much, Mr. David Ivy.
Nice. So, our original episode talking about season 2's finale was actually titled "We're Not Mad, We're Just Disappointed."
I remember that.
Yeah. So there's that. So some of the things we talked about. The first thing we had mentioned was we thought for sure that there is no way the spore drive would be usable because they broke the box. So, because they used it to kill Control.
Yeah.
So the spore drive we figured was out the window. Yeah. The other thing is we thought that it could be an entire season kind of like Voyager, in that they would be stuck in the beta quadrant trying to get back to the alpha quadrant and reconnect with Starfleet. So we were kind of right in that they're trying to reconnect with Starfleet, but that was, yeah. We also were excited at the possibility of futuristic Borg.
Oh, man.
We really thought that that's where they were going to go. No. And then the last thing we thought was we had speculated that the Kelpians would become the main antagonist for the Alpha Quadrant because now they were the predator species. And
well,
so
we kind of got that right, didn't we?
Kinda, but not for the reasons that we thought.
No,
you know?
No.
No, just because he wanted his mommy.
Yeah, he wanted. So we really thought the Kelpians were going to be like the new Klingons and super badass, and they weren't.
Speaking of which,
yeah,
is this the first Trek season of any of the shows to not have a single solitary Klingon show up in it?
Oh. Yeah, it might be.
I mean, there were no Klingons at all in season 3 Disco. Period. Bar none. I don't even recall there being a reference or a hint or something on a screen somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, because Enterprise had him quite a bit.
Well, yeah, Enterprise had him in episode 1, Broken Bow, when there's a Klingon on Earth, for fuck's sake.
But every season, too, when they did the Xindi experiment, they ran into Klingons at some point.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So, yeah, I think you're right.
We'll have to go look at the scenes in all the marketplaces. There's got to be a Klingon in the background somewhere.
Well, to be fair, I don't know about the animated series because I've never seen that. So
I kind of want to watch that
there's
now.
Klingons in that.
Yeah. I kind of want to watch that now, just because it's the one thing I've never seen. So that could be new Trek for me, you know.
I mean, we are going to have a lot of shows to fill throughout till the next Trek. So
I am hoping to have my PC build done in the next couple of months. I'm still slowly buying components here and there when I can. And I've even gotten a couple of them to buy off that Tech Deals thing. Who was it that told us about that does that website? It's not Paul Chan. Maybe it is. No, I think it's Taryn. I think it was Taryn, actually, who told me about that.
Okay.
But anyway, there's a couple deals I'm picking up off of there, too. So I appreciate that, guys. If you haven't, and you're building a PC or you want like PC components or anything like that, go to Tech Deals over on YouTube. Anyway, so when I get that done, I will finally be able to have a full-blown rig here, and I want to do some watch-alongs where I just, hey, pull up Netflix, go to this, go to season whatever this, and in 3, 2, 1, hit play, and it's just running in the background, and I'm doing commentary over it. You don't really hear it, but you're listening to it while you're listening to our commentary. We need to be able to do that. That would be awesome.
I used to listen to a podcast that's all they did. It was called I don't know if it's still around. It was called Commentary Track Stars.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But I used to listen to I've never did it like actually watching the show. Whatever movie they were reviewing, I would listen in the car, and it's like, oh, I've seen this movie 1,000 times. I don't need to watch the movie and listen to the commentary track. But
maybe that should be a show idea. Other podcasts we listen to.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That
I've got
could
a
be
ton.
fun.
I listened to
Yeah,
a ton.
I've got a ton too, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Cool. Anyway, back on the topic. Sorry.
Yeah.
We're trying to avoid talking about this.
I guess we'll talk about it.
Yeah. There's stuff to say.
All right. So, do we need to read a synopsis, or do we?
Yeah,
care?
let's just read a quick synopsis, and that'll give us a jumping off.
So it's episode 13 of the season, the finale, episode 42 of Discovery overall. 42 episodes already. That's amazing. Alutandi Asamanami was the director. Michelle Paradise was the writer. So we can all find her on Twitter at Michelle Paradise and just rip her to shreds. Anyway, here's the synopsis. Unable to jump away without Stamets, Osira fights her way out of the Federation headquarters and shuts off life support for the bridge crew. Despite this, Tilly and the crew is able to plant a bomb in one of the ship's nacelles, even though it's not attached, and they have the sphere data inside of a robot. Anyway, dropping Discovery from warp. Burnham makes her way to the ship's data core, kills Osira in a fight, and resets the computer systems after the computer spits her out of the wall. She turns life support back on and beams all Emerald Chain fighters off the ship in what has to be the fastest talk ever. I mean, her and Tawny Newsome in a race with one another. Who speaks faster? Aurelio, after a change of heart, suggests that Book could use the spore drive with his empathic abilities. What the fuck? This is actually on Wikipedia. Someone said WTF. Saru helps Sukal turn the simulation off and come to terms with the death of his mother, as his reaction to that is what would cause the burn. Yeah, we all know that. Just as Discovery arrives, Saru decides to help Sukal start a new life on Kaminar, and Burnham is promoted to captain. Holy shit. The Emerald Chain collapses after Osira's death, and planets begin to rejoin the Federation. Discovery sets out to bring dilithium from the nebula to planets that have been cut off from the burn. And in the synopsis, they don't mention that Navarre shows up to help, and Burnham just shoos him away after she asked him to help. Whatever. Anyway, so that's the synopsis.
Yeah.
I just spilled coffee on myself.
Nice. So one of the first questions I have is when Adira pops up into the holodeck, what alien are they supposed to be?
She's supposed to remember that short trek we had with Tilly, and she's with the princess of the planet that does all the dilithium mining.
Likes ice cream.
Likes ice cream, yeah. She's supposed to be one of those, but this is the worst, the absolute worst thing I've ever seen. I mean, what did they took that poor girl to a carnival and paid someone $5 to paint her face. I mean, that's what that is. That's what it looked like. Bad face paint. It looked like bad face paint and some knockoff AirPod versions of things they stuck in her ear.
Do you think Adira got to pick like what alien they got to be? Like, because it doesn't matter. You're just looking different for the hologram.
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't get it.
I think the guy who stormed Congress had better face paint than Adira did.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Yeah. Yeah.
I made a post on, or I think you made it, Daniel, and I've copied it over on Twitter, but it's the one where there's a picture of a guy who looks like he's in like a goat skin, and it says Q sent me, and he means QAnon.
Right.
It just says Q sent me, and then there's a picture of Q right below and says, no, I did not.
Yeah. I most certainly did not. Yeah.
I most certainly did not.
I wanted to say that a few weeks ago, is that every now and then when I post memes and, I'll tag things, and if it's like Q, Q from Star Trek, I'll tag Q. And I've noticed that a few of those posts ends up in the QAnon tracks. So whatever.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah. But whatever. The episode, man.
It's a train wreck all the way through. Now, I will say this.
Mm-hmm.
On that Thursday, I tried to put my phone down and not look at it.
If this is your nice thing, save it till the end.
No, it kind of is. It kind of is actually. So I'll save it to the end. But I did. I put my phone down, and people were trying to spoil it all day long. And then at some point, both of you had watched it, and you guys were texting back and forth. And I'd hear my phone. I'd glance, and I could tell it was the messenger icon, and I'd look away as fast as I could. I didn't want to read anything you had to say. So I tried to remain as spoiler free about what was going on until I finally watched it. I think late Friday night. I forget. Well, I forget when I watched it. I started texting you guys after I did. Maybe it was Friday morning. I forget. But I have no concept of time, as my wife says. So,
it's been a long week, so it's kind of hard to tell when
it is.
And what happened,
well,
so.
yeah, and I got a little. I don't know if I'm really sick or not or what, but I've got a couple of issues, and so I've been sleeping on the couch in the basement the last 2 nights. So I can't tell what the hell day it is. Anyway. So, yeah, okay. I'll save the good things about all that for later. It is a train wreck overall. There's so much what all over the place. But the worst thing about it is how they take some of the things they've done with certain characters all year long, building them up, fixing them essentially, or making them a certain way, and then just totally shitting on them and ruining them. And the biggest one of all of those is Saru. I feel like the last 3 episodes or so, they've done nothing but tear his character down. I don't know why.
Because they knew they were going to put Burnham in the captain's seat in the last episode, and you can't have her replacing the perfect captain, so they had to bring him down a peg or 2.
And on the Will Wheaton show, they did say that from the very beginning, that was the plan.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I am sure from the very beginning they wanted Burnham as captain, and they wanted to make it as wishy-washy, windy as possible, because that's what writers like to do. They like to think they're winding you around, and somehow it makes sense in their head and makes no sense to anybody else. I get that. I've done that. Okay, but...
I always thought that her captaincy should have been how the series ends. Not how it midway through the series ends. You know what I mean?
Well, plot twist, season 4 might be the last. I mean,
it could be. Yeah, because shows don't have nearly as many seasons anymore. So
here's the thing: we've had 3 years of her disobeying orders, doing her own thing. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Most of the time, it works out. And then in this episode, we have Admiral Vance basically chop his balls off, put him in a pickle jar and hand them to her and say, I'm the senior admiral of all of Starfleet, but you know what? You, Michael Burnham, you know better than I do. You disregard orders all the time, and you know what? Thank you for doing that. You're the savior of the entire world, and we're going to give you a captaincy here. We're going to give you the ship. You're the captain. I hope that someday I can be half the Starfleet officer that you are, Michael.
Lord.
And
it's not just the captaincy; it's the captaincy to their most important ship, because it's the only one that can go anywhere.
Yes. It's essentially the de facto flagship
that
she captains now. Okay, so my question is, episode 3 of season 4, when Stamets says to her, "No, fuck you, we're not doing that. We're doing it my way. I think my way's better. I don't care what the rank on your collar says." How does she react to that? For 3 years, she's done whatever the hell she wants to do. How could she discipline someone else for doing the same thing?
Right.
It makes no sense.
Dan, you can't go. I'm sorry, not Dan. Morty, you can't go asking questions you don't have answers to.
That's right.
I have no idea what that is.
He's Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty.
Oh, okay.
I'm wondering who her first officer is going to be.
Tilly.
I don't think so. Because Tilly
it needs to be the lady that played Ariam and then died, and they killed her. So then they brought her back as a lieutenant, whoever the hell that is, the brunette.
Yeah.
The blonde brunette, whatever her name is. Sarah something is her actual name. I don't know what her name is in the show.
I kind of want to see Dr. Colbert be her, because if anyone gives her shit and does it well, it's him. He is so snappy,
Yeah. Did you just call me Poppy?
Yeah.
That would be an interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
Because each night at dinner, he's sitting down with Stamets and they're talking about the day, right? And Stamets just won't stop referring to her as that bitch.
Right.
And he's got to be like, "Hey, man, that's my boss. You can't.
That's your boss too." Yeah.
Well, in Colbert, does agree with her decision.
Oftentimes, yeah.
He did agree with the decision that she made with putting Stamets out the window, basically, and waiting to go back and get them until after things had settled, buying some time or whatever. He agreed with that. He thought she made the right choice. He tells Stamets that. So
it would be an interesting dynamic. Now that we've said it out loud, like, yeah, actually it would be kind of cool.
It would be.
Well, you have to wonder if he's going to be on the ship. That conversation has to be had. I think he's going to tell Culber, you know what? There's 100 other ships in the fleet. We don't need to be here. I'm not special anymore because Bookie McBookface can jump the ship.
Right.
Let him do it. Let him do it, and let's go anywhere else. I could see that happening.
Here's a huge hole they made for themselves. Because at the end of this thing, they say, here's Burnham's as new captain, new ship, and a uniform that doesn't fit. And oh, by the way, here's your new mission, spreading hope to the galaxy and taking dilithium to all these planets and trying to bring them back into the fold.
Yeah, truckers.
But wait, we don't need. We don't need
Ice Road Truckers, Trek Edition.
Yeah, exactly. We don't need dilithium. We have a spore drive, and now we have a whole planet of empaths, or at least a good portion of them that we can recruit as pilots. So why do we need dilithium still?
Yeah.
We can build. Stamets and Culber could just stay at Starfleet headquarters. Culber can become head of Starfleet Medical. Culber can become head of the science division, and they could just start cranking out new ships with spore drives in them and going and recruiting all those pilots from, go get Book's brother, for crying out loud.
Yeah, that's a good point, because they keep saying we can't replicate the technology. Didn't Stamets create it?
Yeah, they can replicate the technology. There's no reason why they can't.
And now they have 700 years of better technology to do it with, or 1,000, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So that whole idea that they can't replicate it, that's nonsense.
Stupid. They could build it again, and if it's because they can't get the tardigrade DNA, they don't need the tardigrade DNA. If it's because they can't produce the mycelial, if it's because they can't produce the mycelial cells, and the ones they have are the only ones in existence because everything is dead, then how are they still traveling the network? And oh, by the way, can't they replicate that the same way that scientist who's apparently now been opened-armed by the Federation in his chair? And
they may not be able to replicate the tardigrade DNA, but they can damn sure replicate that special pesticide that Book's planet needed.
Yeah.
So they can just be like, hey, we'll help you out. You get us some pilots. We're good to go. We help each other out.
Yeah, I mean, this is... Anyway.
Yeah.
Big hole for the next season already.
Tons of room in that turbo lift now.
Yeah, exactly.
All these plot holes.
Oh, that whole scene was so stupid.
Yeah.
That whole scene was so stupid.
Even the robot. The robot's going to break down. What? Yeah. Because it's going to be magnetically white.
How is the sphere data? How is the sphere data still on the ship?
It's inside of those robots, right? But that makes no sense.
Okay, but what I mean is for the whole season, they've known that it's there. Okay, which means that Admiral Vance said, you have this rogue AI embedded into the software of your ship.
Yeah.
We can't control it. It's its own thing. It's self-aware. It's this, it's that, it's the other thing. We can't remove it. Why don't we go ahead and upgrade your ship? We'll give it programmable. You know what I mean? Right now they have this rogue this rogue AI.
They don't know its intentions. They don't know.
They don't know its intentions, and it has control of 1,000-year-old ship.
Yeah. Yep.
Why would you then make that ship just as powerful as every other ship?
And they apparently did, as we saw in the fight scenes here, they apparently did upgrade those shields and those lasers and those phasers and whatever else you want to call them, because they're now all blue. Everything's got this nice blue color to it, So, and it's all the same, right? And so they apparently did those because somehow, how many ships are in there? Is there like 8 or 9 ships? I want to say there's as many as 8 ships at least. Maybe 5. Let's just say there's 5.
You're talking about in the Starfleet kind of area?
Inside of their shield perimeter, there's at least 5. I'm sure there's more, but at a very minimum, there's 5 ships.
Right.
How in the hell are all of those 5 ships with concentrated fire on Discovery not just knocking it out in 5 seconds flat? It's 5 against 1.
In the last season finale, we learned that they're all full of like little drones and little fighter planes within the ships. So why didn't those guys come out to help them too?
Because they exhausted all of them in the last season.
Oh, okay.
They haven't made any more yet out of their programmable matter. I don't know.
Yeah. So now that the rogue AIs and the little robots, are we getting a sassy sidekick now?
Yeah, with the robots.
Yeah.
Beady beady. What's up, book?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to admit
know.
that was a pretty good impersonation right there. That wasn't too bad.
It was amazing.
I didn't know what you were going for.
Anyway, no, I don't. The thing about that, the biggest part, the biggest part about that with the sphere data that doesn't make sense. Everything else is kind of okay with what the little robots are doing and all that. That's cool, and that's apparently why they're in the title card at some point, all the way back at the beginning of the season. But anyway, what doesn't make sense is you can go back and watch it. I recall from last season when the sphere data came on board, it was taking up a ton of space.
Yeah.
I mean, it was taking up a ton of space, and they couldn't purge it. They couldn't get rid of it. They couldn't move it around. They couldn't isolate it. And of course, it's semi-sentient or sentient, so it doesn't want to be purged, so it didn't let them. But at the same time, if it takes up so much damn space, maybe it's because it's 1,000 years in the future, but how do those robots have that much fucking memory on board?
Well, earlier in the season, they said that the sphere data didn't take up any space. So they have it both ways.
Contradicted themselves. You're right. They said that when Osira took up, and then she was like, well, there's a little amount of space there, right? They said that then too. I could see that maybe it was already pulled out.
They should have mothballed. They should have mothballed Discovery at the beginning of the season because they couldn't control this rogue AI. Isolated it somewhere in the shield perimeter. Okay. Gave them a new ship to operate. Okay, and then basically forget about the old Discovery and the sphere data for the majority of the season. Okay, and then have it come alive in the last episode. The sphere data is gonna, take control of the ship and come save the day. That would have made a little bit of sense.
It also could have filled in Calypso, because maybe in that fight it gets damaged and they wind up like having to use Spore Drive against Spore Drive kind of thing against one another, and they wind up nowhere, and she can't jump the ship again. She can't jump herself again in the Spore Drive and all of that, right? Because she gets sucked along or something, right? And then there you go. Now the ship's left for however long.
Right.
And then there's your tie into Calypso. But see how easy that is? It's really not hard to write things and intertwine them together and make it all quote unquote canon. It's not that damn hard.
No.
So anyway, no offense to the writers of the show. I know it's not an easy job. I know they're in a box, and then what they write versus what winds up coming out and how people interact is different. I get all of that. I get all of that. So I'm still shitting on it. Okay. So let's get to this Sukal thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
This is some of the worst. They take Saru and they just freaking destroy the man. He gets sucked into this thing with the Kelpie and Sukal and can't let go, and he gets all obsessed with it and all obsessed with the history of Kaminar, what's been going on. He can't look away. He's like a cat who sees a laser beam on the floor and just can't help but follow the damn thing. And it's so awful what they do to him. He just gets lost in this holodeck program that's falling apart, which, while beautiful, is freaking annoying. Every single one of these scenes that come around with Sukal, who's apparently got brain damage or something from all of this, because I understand if you grew up in isolation all by yourself from the age of 5, you would be a little odd, because you wouldn't have any social connotation to deal with other people.
But he wasn't alone.
You didn't. And it's only been recently, as in like maybe the last 30, 40 years of the 125 years he's been in this thing. God knows why he's immortal and lives so damn long. But because that's just, plot twist.
Well, I mean, Vulcans live a long time too, so do Klingons. So
Kelpians don't live that damn long.
Well, they're too delicious.
Yeah, so But no, I mean, it's like, and I don't know. He's got holograms there with him the entire time. He's got teaching. They're very sophisticated. They're still working somewhat now.
Right.
Even though things are falling apart, right? And so there's been enough time for him to develop some maturity. There's no, I understand that maybe at the age of 5 when he saw his dying mother and he screamed and he lost his shit. Okay, I get that. That makes sense. Doesn't mean that I understand why it caused the burn, but these two things, whatever. One of these things is not like the other. But anyway, so this whole thing though, it's just it's so irritating. It's like every time they went to those scenes, it was like, God, can I just fast forward? I know what they're gonna fucking say. Can I just get
The whole burn and Sukal, that was just the question I had for you guys. The Red Angel, the burn, which was the worst mystery? Because both were pretty bad.
The burn was worse.
The burn was worse.
Yeah.
The burn was
sad
worse because it didn't have to be that bad. Okay.
Yeah.
Because you basically have an entire planet made out of dilithium.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You give me 10 minutes, I could think of probably 6 more plausible ways to have this planet somehow cause the burn that are better than, this kid, his DNA is connected to dilithium somehow, and he gets upset and screams and blows up ships, hundreds of light years away. What is that? That doesn't even make any sense.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
They try to tie it to the fact that dilithium itself has its own quantum variable signature way down on the spectrum that they didn't really know about until now. And how they're all tied together. And there is, in reality, there is this thing is quantum entanglement. You can have this atom right here be spinning in a positive direction, and this atom right here be on the other side of the Milky Way, be spinning in a positive direction. And when you change one, the other one changes instantly, as in they knew about each other, right?
Yeah, I get that, but you can have they Scotty Jimmy rigged the ship. They're going to try one last ditch effort to get the ship off the planet, and to do that they have to cross the red wire with the blue wire and technobabble blah blah blah, and hit the red button, and it didn't work, and boom, it caused this thing called the burn.
Right.
You don't have to have this traumatized child's scream causing it. It was just, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
You could have had something as simple as like they were trying to, I don't know, teleport some of the dilithium out, and that's where they found the quantum entanglement, and that's what caused the burn, and so that's why he's sad, because that's what killed everybody in the accident. Something like that. You could technobabble that all kinds of different ways, but the part of that, though, that even with some of the people saying that about the quantum entanglement, that still doesn't make sense, is that would only work if all the dilithium in the universe came from that planet, right? The only way you get two objects entangled with, quantum entanglement between them is if they were together at some point, right? Or you made them that way and then moved them apart. They don't just, this one over here doesn't just spontaneously become entangled with something over here 10 light years away. All right. I just realized another plot hole we're not even talking about.
Yeah.
So if his crying blew up all the dilithium everywhere else, why didn't the planet blow up?
Yeah.
It's full of dilithium, and it's right there.
And it's right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It should have killed him.
I don't know.
It should have killed him.
Yeah. Because reasons.
Yeah.
That was a writer's room commentary.
Is it that the dilithium blew up, or is it that something happened to the dilithium so that it could no longer regulate the matter-antimatter reaction going on the ship?
And that's what exploded the ships, because a ton of ships blew up.
Yeah.
Okay.
It could be both. I guarantee that happened in the writer's room somewhere. Someone had that question. Someone there smart enough. These people aren't stupid, but someone there smart enough to have had that question. And someone probably brought up some writer's axiom about you say one thing, let the listener fill in the rest, right? And so that's how it got totally harpooned.
You ever see somebody get hit with like rolled up newspaper, like in the old mafia movies? Like,
oh yeah,
shut up, knock it off, blah blah. That's what that person. about
Yeah,
this
that's
stuff.
what happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So I don't know. All right,
Like when
what
you're
else
drinking
happened in this
coffee.
in this
No.
heck of a show? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got the Sukal thing. Doug Jones going back to Kaminar, being able to see Kaminar as an advanced society. We didn't really get to see much of that. It was kind of cool, but we didn't get to see much of it. So there's that. Michael becoming captain. Admiral Vance smiling and welcoming her with open arms and begging her to take the Discovery on, and doing it now because he wants a decision now. Osira's dead. The Emerald Chain starts to break apart, and all is right with the universe. So they wrapped it up pretty fast. I mean, it was again.
We knew that was going to happen.
That's
We
how
said
they
that.
do. That's exactly how they
That's how they do it.
Yep, that is their formula. They wrap it up really fast at the end. Are there any things they missed that they should have wrapped up that they didn't wrap up? I've got one.
They didn't leave any sort of hint about how Stamets is feeling.
They left one hint when she went to
they most certainly
sick bay.
did.
They went to sick bay, and she tried to smile and nod to him, and he just shook his head like, "You bitch," and looked away.
Oh, I missed that.
Yep.
Oh,
that was the one. That was the one little thing, which was nice. They did that right because that's exactly what his reaction should.
Yep, he was hugging and kissing Adira and Culber, and they were all smiles. And then she came in, made eye contact with him. The smile left his face, and then he turned back to Culber, and directed his attention towards him again. And you could see her reaction, like, oh, there's consequences to my actions.
Oh, weird. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then 5 minutes later, here's the keys to the ship. So that little lesson that she learned down in sickbay, right out the airlock.
She does not learn lessons. Okay, Burnham is who Burnham is. She doesn't change. She doesn't learn lessons. She is who she is, and that's what the season wanted to make sure they fomented in.
I really hope that Stamets doesn't just let this go. I really want to see that boil over. I really want him to tell her, I don't give a shit if you're the captain, because you don't give a shit about rank. You don't give a shit about protocol. So I don't give a shit how many stripes are on your shirt.
Right.
Yeah, that's not bad. I was thinking this week after the season premiere or season finale, they really messed up by having her be raised by Vulcans, because Vulcans are supposed to be they're not emotional, they're logical, they go by the rules, and she's the complete opposite of that. And I kind of feel like she should have been raised by another alien race, like maybe the Andorians or the Klingon, something that's more passionate. Yeah, that is more feelings based. So then that way it would match her characteristics. And you could have even had a situation where okay, so you have her raised by a different race, so she has a different background that matches more of what you're going for with her. And then if you really wanted to tie her into Spock, you could have made Spock her ex-boyfriend, which would have been which would have been hilarious, because everybody knows what it's like to run into your ex and how awkward that is. Well,
she should have just been Kirk's sister, because she is Kirk. Yeah. By the way, she doesn't believe in the no-win scenario.
Yeah.
Right.
And she comes out and says that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. How could you not have that as a callback to to James Kirk?
She is no Kirk.
I know that. I know that. I know that.
I'm
and
sure
then as a callback to Star Trek 09, you went and did your own thing and you saved the day. Here's the keys to the ship. You're now the captain.
Yeah.
Oh, see, and I was thinking the tie back to Star Trek 09 is, Spock was dating Uhura, so you could have that tie back too. That's what he likes. So
Spock's got a type.
Yeah, Spock's got a type. So that fits.
Emotional black women, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what he likes.
Well, his dad had a type.
Yeah.
He liked the humans. He liked the humans.
He did. He liked humans.
He had 2 human wives.
Yeah.
Speaking of daddies.
Yeah.
This is my daddy.
Apparently the daddy is Pike. So...
I should have played that during the Pike and
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah. Oh well.
I forgot that I put it on here.
Yeah.
Now, and then we get this scene too back in the holodeck on Sukal's ship, and this made no sense. All of a sudden, they can see Gray.
Yeah,
That made no sense.
So not only that, Gray's a Vulcan, and oh, by the way, we get a call back to Moriarty where he walks off the holodeck and is still standing there and can see everything, and then walks back in. What was that?
They must have emitters everywhere.
I guess, but it just didn't. I mean, they made it seem like he walked off the holodeck and then walked back. I guess the whole thing is holograms. I guess. Yeah, it's true. It just felt like, what the hell?
It didn't make any sense. So the computer is reading her mind and then making a projection of her multiple personality disorder.
Yeah, why not all of them?
It doesn't make any sense.
No.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was dumb.
It would have made more sense had you seen all of them.
I would say, well, hey, maybe they're setting something up for season 4, but we kind of realize that they don't care.
No.
They'll just,
Well, and then Culber, who's like, don't worry, we're not going to forget you. We're going to find a way to make it so everyone can see you. No, you're not. No, you're not. Why would you
on
say
a hologram,
that? That's not
on
a
a
thing.
holodeck. Sure, or with mobile emitters. Sure, of course. If
Yeah.
it happened on that hologram, if it happened inside of that holodeck, it can happen inside the ship if there's mobile emitters everywhere. So they could. I don't know why they would. You know, they
But
need
that
to
open.
get the
Okay,
trill
but then
out of
that
the human. It's the problem.
that opens a whole new can of worms then, because then that means that any trill could plug into a holodeck and access their former hosts, the former personalities that are in
Wasn't
there.
there a deal, like, didn't Jadzia have like a special ceremony where she could, like, her past lives would actually jump into other people and she could communicate with them directly?
Or was that all in her head?
No. There was a thing. Yeah, I remember this because
that was an episode. You're right, because they asked O'Brien to be part of that, and Bashir to be part of that. Yeah.
So
Grace, now there's a safer way to do it inside of a holodeck.
Yeah.
That just means that, you know, even Deep Space Nine had a few stinkers. That's all that means.
Yeah. They all do.
They all do. Yeah.
It just happens that this one is just a lot more.
It's perplexing. Yeah.
Which is so sad because, again, the first half, first 2/3 of this season was good and we were enjoying it. It wasn't.
And honestly, it's a gorgeous looking show. Even when it's bad.
Even when it's bad, it's gorgeous. Yeah. Even when it's bad, it's gorgeous. We've said that since day one. Even when it's bad, it's gorgeous.
I've dated girls like that. Even when it's bad. She pisses me off. She's gorgeous, but she pisses me off.
Okay. Yeah. What else about this episode? What else do we got to cover here? Because I feel like maybe it's time for the good stuff.
Yeah. Let's do the good stuff.
All right, go for it, Daniel.
You know what? You know what was good? We got to see the communications officer that was just by himself at his little desk out in the middle of nowhere. You know, they brought him back. That's cool. We had mentioned that, you know.
Yeah.
He was happy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, communications officer, the black guy or the Asian guy? I don't know which is which. Oh, you mean that guy. Yeah.
Yeah. I forget
that was
his
a nice scene.
Yeah, that was cool. I really like that they brought him back. And
I would have liked for them to mention that he is now an actual member of Starfleet, that he received an actual commission rather than the
I think that's the implication when they went back to him.
Sure.
Yeah.
I did like Burnham's reaction to that though. Oh, hi. Yeah. Hi.
Yeah.
You? Like, I completely forgot about you. I don't. Yeah. It took me a second to recognize you because I've totally forgotten about you.
Yeah.
A year ago.
Yeah, you haven't been useful to me in a while.
Right.
So, you know.
So I haven't ruined your day.
Yeah. I can say one other thing, but I don't know if like that might take something from you guys. So
go for it, because you know, whatever.
I did like that Grudge was just a cat. Nothing special.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
She's a queen.
She's a
Yep.
queen.
Yep.
Yeah. Which Google has taught me that is the name of a non-spayed female cat is a queen.
Ah.
Oh.
So,
Yeah, and didn't we get? Didn't somebody email us in too and explain that as well?
yeah.
Someone who's a U.S. Army Corps veterinarian, but I forget who the.
Yeah. So she's literally a queen. That's
Yeah,
what they're called.
Yeah. Yep. So that's nice. It's just
That's nice.
he just loves his cat.
All right. Who's next?
Dan, go for it.
Do I have to?
No. This is your idea, but no.
Yeah, I know. I know. Well, you know what they say about hope, right? They say false hope is better than no hope at all.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping, and I feel like I've said this after every season of this show, but I'm hoping next season will be better.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have set it up that they definitely could do that. They have a primary mission now. Their primary mission is to deliver dilithium to these worlds that were cut off. So I'm hoping that is the B story. That is the overarching B story, is ferrying dilithium to these planets. And then we will get self-contained A stories about, okay, this episode we're going to this planet, which, they're having a problem with the Andorians in that sector because whatever. And maybe we'll have an episode or maybe 2 episodes to wrap up that issue. And, okay, here's your dilithium. You're now part of the Federation again. We're off to such and such and have a new adventure on their way to and from that planet. I'm hoping that they can do that. It probably won't happen, but
Here's hoping.
Yeah.
They could have an alien of the week, right? It doesn't have to be. It's a new alien of the week. It doesn't have to be an alien. Some of them should be aliens we've already seen, a la the Klingons. Where the hell they go? But yeah, we should definitely see some new aliens as well. So that's a good point. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay. Good things on my end. As you mentioned, it is a beautiful show. This Gormagander thing that's floating through the air. They made that look like it was something right out of Stranger Things. Pretty good. It's always visually beautiful. I mean, there are certain things that they do get that Discovery has gotten right since day one. And the one thing that they've gotten right is the look of the show. And you could say what you want about their technology level at the time when the show started, being pre-Kirk, and if it was too advanced and yada, yada, yada. That is what it is, folks. It wasn't going to look like the 60s Trek, and it shouldn't have looked like 60s Trek. So I never really, I'm sure if I go back and listen to episodes, I complain about it, but I never really was too concerned about that. So I thought the look and the feel of it has been right all the way through. And this season's no exception. I mean, they spent a ton of money on the visual effects. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. It should win an award for that.
Yeah.
And prosthetics and makeup artists. And Doug Jones really ought to get some sort of SAG award or something for his work.
He needs a lifetime achievement at this point.
Yeah, because I mean, like, without his prosthetics and everything, you can tell the minute his prosthetics come back on. That's one little nitpick thing that's wrong with the prosthetics, because you can tell when he gets muffled and his prosthetics are on versus when he didn't. You couldn't before because you didn't know the difference, but you could in this episode. And even Sukal, who's an idiot, notices what's going on because he turns around and sees that he's a Kelpian. But anyway, like, he notices a change in his voice and then turns around and looks. So anyhow, Doug Jones is awesome. And it's just a shame they tore his character down. But anyway, we said all that. So that's another good takeaway. That Doug Jones is a phenomenal actor, and I love everything he's done so far. Good acting anyway, not the writing. And then one other good takeaway from all this is that it's fucking over. So, I mean, there you go. Leave it on a high note, Dan. We don't have any more work to do.
So do we want to do predictions for season 4?
Well, I think we kind of already have, but we can wrap them up real quick if you want.
Yeah.
So, do you have any you want to go with first, Daniel?
I think that it'll be definitely far more episodic. I think Dan's right in that we'll have like Alien of the Week or Monster of the Week kind of thing, Situation of the Week. Maybe with an overall arcing storyline, kind of like similar to like what the CW superhero shows do, where like there's a main villain that kind of connects, and but overall there's one situation. I also think that I would hope the Stamets situation gets a lot of play, because that is a really good, interesting thing that they can develop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be my hope and predictions for next season, is if they are going to go to an episodic format, that they develop these characters more, because I did like these scenes we got with the bridge crew, with Tilly and company, trying to make their way to the nacelle, and the camaraderie there, and this tapping on the wall thing that they did to try to communicate and all of that. There's a lot of little subtle things that they could build upon for the solidity of this crew, and I'm really hoping that they do that moving forward, because these characters deserve it. They're good actors. There's not a single one of them that's a bad actor. They're all very good. They're just not used correctly.
They do these things like the navigator. What's her name? Who can hold her. No. She's the pilot.
That's
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. All we needed was one scene 6 episodes ago of her swimming.
Yeah.
Okay. And wow, you can hold your breath a really long time. Well, when I grew up, blah 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 blah, we we swam in the lake or whatever. Yeah. Instead of just dropping this nugget 5 seconds before you need it.
Yeah. Or you don't have time to say a whole bunch of stuff, so you just have Burnham say it really, really, really fast. Like in the middle of an action scene, this is something that people do nowadays. In the middle of an action scene, when there's a whole bunch of stuff going on, and it's all happening in split-second time, you don't have time for a freaking memoir, and that's what. And I feel like that's just something that they do now with Burnham, is she has to talk really fast when she gets excited in the middle of an action scene for some reason. I wish anyway.
Well, you got to get it all in.
No, you don't actually.
I know. But
okay, anyway.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's our look forward for season 4. Obviously, we've got go ahead.
I think I want to make a prediction for Saru. He's going to be back. I don't think he's going to be the captain of Discovery.
No.
I don't think they're going to make him captain of another ship, because that just wouldn't work. I think he's going to be, we haven't seen this rank in quite a long time, but I think he's going to be Commodore Saru. That's my that's my prediction.
Oh, I thought you were going to say first officer to Burnham.
No. If they do that, I'm out.
Yeah.
If they do that, I'm out.
They might, Dan.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see them doing it.
He's a every episode, a lot of time character. He's not one that's just going to go, unless Doug Jones has got something else to do. I don't another Pan's Labyrinth or something. I don't.
Which he might, if Hollywood's going back up. Guillermo del Toro could be calling him up. Hey, we're shooting this.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who does any kind of movie with creatures involved is going to be in prosthetics is going to want Doug Jones, and they'll pay big money for him. They don't care.
Yeah.
I don't think it would work. I mean, after his interactions with her all season, and
I think it would.
Punishing her.
It would. Because he's the one who's told Vance she should be captain. She should take the captaincy from me. I think they've made his character get way too soft and way too distracted and way too over here about Kelpians and everything else. And so while it would make sense because of that maybe he should be the attaché from Kalmanar, right? He should be like an embassy type of situation, right? UN kind of embassy deal. Some sort of a go-between information officer, Commodore, if you will, something inside of Starfleet itself and not on the ship anymore. I think that would make sense, but I think he's too integral of a character with that bridge crew for them to want to do that. I think they're gonna make him first officer.
He's gone to Barclay and not enough Picard.
Yeah.
Well, just imagine this then. Put this in your mind. Captain Riker, Commander Picard. Does
Yeah.
it work at all on
No.
any level,
No.
any possibility? Okay.
Well, that's a whole nother ball of wax, but no.
Right.
Because
Captain
Burnham is no
Spock.
Riker.
Captain Spock, Commander Kirk. Does it work on any level in any galaxy? No, it doesn't.
No.
You can't, they better not. You listen up, Star Trek. You better not. You better not. I'm warning you.
Get the papers.
Yeah, let me roll up the paper.
Yep. If they do, this is what's going to happen right here.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
That right there.
That's
right
it.
there.
That's it.
That may be the episode title. Get the papers.
There'll be another there'll be another burn, and it's gonna start right here.
That's right.
That's pretty good.
We've been talking for a long time today.
I knew we would. I mean, there's just a lot here that doesn't. Anyway, so I figured we would, and that's fine. So hopefully everybody's been enjoying the show. Hopefully you've enjoyed this season with Discovery as we have, even though we've had our ups and downs. I mean, that's the way it goes, right? So we started this all the way back on October 18th. With episode 257, as far as covering Disco, that's when the season 3 started. That episode title was Men on Film. So if you haven't listened to very many of our shows before, listeners, we do not put titles up that reference anything to do with what we talk about. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. So with that said, I'm bringing this up for a point because a lot of listeners overseas, especially in the UK, Australia, are going to finally be able to watch Lower Decks this coming week. It's going to finally air. They haven't been able to see it anywhere yet, unless they somehow bootleg somebody's CBS All Access account or whatever. But it hasn't aired anywhere for them to watch. So for all of you listening who have missed some shows, skipped some shows because you couldn't see Lower Decks and it's now coming, go back and start with episode 247, We Forget Things. That is our first review of season 1, episode 1 of Lower Decks, and it goes from there. The next 10, 11, 12 episodes. Yeah. So I wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah.
So and we're off next week, but we do have an episode in the can for you guys.
Yes, we do.
So that'll be coming out.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'm not really sure what our schedule will be. We'll figure it out.
Is that this week's episode title, In the Can?
Yeah. Could be. I haven't decided yet.
Yeah. No, Daniel always surprises us with the show titles. He's very inventive that way, as well as the graphics that he uses. We always look forward to seeing what those are, just like you do, because we have no clue what's going to come from the mind of Daniel Reyes.
See.
So, I mean, it's
okie dokie.
Now, what do we do?
Exactly. That's pretty much my life motto.
Yeah. Okie dokie.
All right, whatever. Let's do this.
Yeah. I put up a couple of stats on Twitter real quick. I'll share them real fast, and then we'll dismiss.
Yeah.
But I put a couple of stats over in between December, Christmas and New Year's, basically, and then right after New Year's from 2020. And this needs to be updated a little bit, but just so people know, the most downloaded episode of 2020. Do you guys know what it is?
No.
Romulan MILFs.
That little experiment did not pay out. No, we didn't get a boost because we called it Romulan MILFs. No, our most downloaded episode was episode number 225. It was the Picard Roundtable, our discussion we had right before the series kicked off at the beginning of 2020, which was a year ago this month, because it was like the 29th or 27th or whatever when Picard kicked off. So that was an interesting little fun fact that was our biggest download of the year. So almost 60,000 downloads for the year, close to 60,000.
Wow.
For the whole year, and we're well over 4 million in total for the lifetime of the show. So, and this is show number 104 for the three of us. 104 episodes.
Wow.
Yep.
That's a lot.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it won't take us very long to finally get to where we have more episodes together than the original cast,
Yeah.
Ivy and Benjamin. So, or Darren. Yeah. Darren and Ivy. Darren and David. Sorry. All the D's. I get all the D's. I mean, gosh.
You love the D's.
Yeah.
We've discussed this. You love the D.
Anyway.
That could be an episode title. Chad loves the D.
I think
you know what? We should say people should email in if they have episode ideas for us.
Yes, please do.
Yeah.
Email in, call in. You can email us at trekcasttng@gmail.com. Chad is wrong at gmail.com. You can always call us on the show's phone number, 816-287-0448. And, of course, follow us over on the Facebook group, as well as over at Instagram, TrekcastTNG, and the Twitter, TrekcastTNG. If you want to talk to me on social media, Twitter is the only place to go. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll make a post in the Facebook group so people can.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Okay.
Yep. That is it. That is our show, ladies and gentlemen. And we will be back. We'll see you next week with the In the Can episode. Mm-hmm. And and here we go.
Dismissed. That's a Starfleet expression for get out.
Well, there you have it. Another episode in the can. Check us out at Trekcast.com. Also, if you would, please subscribe to us via iTunes. Leave those reviews. Subscribe to us. We'll get some numbers, get up the list, get more listeners, do more shows, have more fun. But for now, we're all done. So live long and prosper, and we'll see you next week.